Hey, welcome back to another tutorial. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is putting into practice sort of what we've been demonstrating really, and what we've been discussing. Okay, so there's a few things that I want to get set up for this lecture because this is a follow along one, and hopefully you'll be able to take away the sort of principles that have been taught and apply them yourself to create some nice materials inside of 3ds Max. So what we'll do is we'll press M on the keyboard and just to open up that view here. And what we'll do for the purposes of this video is we're going to be using the Slate material editor. I'm going to go ahead and use Alt W to bring my window large here. And I'm going to dock this editor to the side. There we go, something like that. And then we can just pull this into position. I'm going to go ahead and I'll create a planar. I'm going to give it some segments as well because we're going to be messing around with some displacement maps during this tutorial. And we'll go ahead and create a geosphere. What we'll do is we'll just bring that up, and that's our scene pretty much done. We can up the segments for the geosphere, so I'm just going to click F4 here just to see the segments. And I'll up these a little bit just so it's a bit more dense for the purposes of this demonstration. What we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to come into standard mode and we're going to use high quality, and we're going to bring up the high quality settings. Now I've got mine docked to the side here, so it'd be a good idea if you guys did the same. So what you can do with that, just grab the arrows wherever it is, and you should be able to just place it inside the menu so you can get the command and the dock menu here. What we're going to do from there is we're going to put the viewport quality to high quality, and I'm just going to jump back to the command panel, and what I'll do is I'll create a light, and we're going to use a standard light, and we'll just drop a skylight in the scene. You can jump back onto the active viewport shader mode now. Let's add a bit of bloom in there, which is always good. And essentially what we're doing now is we're creating our own sort of 3D real-time viewport inside of Max. So this is what it's allowing us to do. We're going to turn off the progressive skylight. We'll see how we get on. I might actually add this a little bit. What it does, it just builds up the render over time a little bit. But you know, if you're happy with your system and you think you can cope, you might want to turn that off. I'll keep mine off for now and we'll see how we get on. I think those settings are good for now. Maybe we'll tweak them a little bit later on. Now, for this actual video, we're not going to be using the physical materials. We looked at quite a lot of the physical materials. However, we're going to be concentrating on sort of the nodes in this video. And the reason this is set up is just so we can see the live updates to make it a little bit easier for you. In addition to that, I'm keen to show you the Slate material editor, which is something we've not really been in these videos up until now. So I'd really like you to get to grips sort of using this really. Now yours might look a little bit different to mine, and it might just be sort of the views that you've got set up. And again, you can see here where you can toggle certain things off. You know, you can tweak things on. So I'm going to toggle my my sort of like, I suppose, my material browser, if you like. I'm going to go ahead and toggle that off, so I've just got more space, because you can right click and grab everything anyway from here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a PBR material. Okay, so we're going to use this again just for the purposes of this video. Just so we've got a bit of speed really with the rendering. We don't need to constantly hit render or use the Arnold previewer. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll create a speck and gloss for the first material. Now, to add this to our object, you can just click and drag, and that'll add it. And again, let's just click, and you can see I'm just dragging this over. So I've got it on my sphere and on my planar. And then what we can do is look to add some of these or utilize, should I say, some of these map types that I encouraged you to explore with a little bit earlier on. So let's take a look at base color. Let's add some stuff into base color. So I'm just going to go to general, and perhaps let's add a smoke effect in here. And you can see it's quite large at the moment. You could try, let's see, I think it might not work. We'll give it a whirl and see if it works. So in texture in Arnold, you have got triplanar. And what this should do, it should map to the surface, but I'm not sure whether it works. Yeah, with PBRs. Well, there we go. That's our answer. I don't think it's worked too well with our PBR there. So I think I'll take that off for now. And what we'll do is we'll do it in a manual way. So with this, I'm going to select. And what I'm going to do is the size here is way too big for what we want to use. So I'm just going to drop that down to about 10. And you can see now where the effects of this smoke or this smoke map and noise is sort of taking place now. So what we can do from here, we can adjust some of the settings, and we can sort of increase or decrease some of those values a little bit, just to try and tweak and experiment with what we get. Maybe I want to up this a little bit more, so maybe about 25, and that'll be pretty good. Now what I can do from here is I'm able to add colors to this. So you got color options 1 and 2. So again, in the compact view, if you did select this, you'd be able to come in here and select these. So what I could do from here is I could add a general, and we can go to a color map. And from here, we're free to sort of really add some coloration to this and some color detail, perhaps that we want. Not too dissimilar here as well with this sort of map here. So let's grab this one. Let's do color. So I'm just clicking, dragging out, and just getting the node list up. And again, what I can do from here is sort of like make this into a bit more of a sort of an orangey color. So we're going to go for like a fire type effect. Sort of on these models here. So let's have a look. I'm going to bring this a little bit more over. Needs to be a bit more here. And again, with this one, it's got to be more sort of orange or yellow, maybe. I think that's starting to look okay. So we can jump back into the smoke. And what we can do with the smoke is, we can look to either scale this up, and just experiment with some of the settings just to make sure we're getting that sort of value we want. I think this is pretty good. I like that. We can swap these over as well to see what we get. Now at the moment this is emitting light because of the bloom down here in the real-time viewport, and again I'm trying to avoid going too much into rendering with this. I want the sort of course to be purely as much as we can get it based upon materials. So I'm trying to avoid this stuff, but you can, if you swap these over, we can reduce the bloom down a little bit, just make that reduction there. We can apply it to the background, but no, that's pretty good. So off that color map there, we could pretty much use that and plug that into the emission value, and that'll give us some really nice sort of fire effect or sun effect or some sort of maybe lava or something within the viewport. So that's a really good one. And this is all sort of real time. This is all happening in the viewport. So that's pretty good. I like that. In addition to that, what we can do as well is we can create some custom displacement maps for this. Now, at the minute, it's not going to work in the real time, so we'll have to just tweak this just to see the effects of a displacement map. Excuse me. And what we can do is we can actually select both of our models. Let's just go into the command panel, and what we'll do is we'll jump into the modify, and in here we've got something called displacement. And this will enable us to view any displacements on, so we can drag in a displacement map in here. So what we could do for the displacement map is we could quite possibly attempt to use this. We could try and utilize it. So what we could do is we could indeed bring this out. Let's look at maps general, and there should be a color correction. And with this one, we can change this to be monochromatic, and then we can add that to the displacement. Now, it's not going to take effect as such in here. And again, if you try and move that displacement, it's not going to take effect on here too much. What we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop this map into here and have it as an instance, okay? And from there, we should be able to start cranking this displacement value up, and you can see that now just taking effect or starting to take effect on our scene here. So the more I increase this, the more sort of detail or sort of the pushing and pulling of verts that takes place. So if I press F4 on the viewport here to bring up the wireframe, you can quite clearly see now where we've got a nice sort of tessellation taking place. What it might be good to do is, again, just increase some of these values as well. I mean, I've got it set to 100 segments. Ideally, if you're using displacements, you're probably going to want to tessellate the mesh anyway, but I will save that for another sort of tutorial. It's not too dissimilar here. Maybe when you're clicking this, what we want to do is we want to just increase those segments a little bit as well, just so we get a bit of a smoother sort of tessellation. But yeah, that's not actually bad. I mean, in terms of quality for a viewport, or if you're looking at this now from sort of like quite a fiery sort of place, that's pretty good. In addition to that, with some of the color correction, you can change the contrast. Again, you can see here where you can change the brightness, the contrast. You can sort of tone things down. You can increase or decrease the saturation. So it all depends. Now, monochromatic, it makes it black and white. So you can sort of see here where you've got that little black and white image. If at any point you're sort of like, hey, what does this look like? What I'd advise you to do is just plug these in. So what I can do is just remove that for now, and you can see the map type. We can turn off the displacement at any point, and you'll be able to see here more clearly how your displacement map's going to affect, or whatever material it is that it's going to sort of affect here. So again, you can change this, and I can maybe dim some of the brightness there a little bit, bring this up a little bit more, possibly something like that. And then what we could do is we could just remove that connection to the base color, bring the base color back in. Let's bring in the emission map as well. So we've got that glow. Turn back on that displacement map, and again, you can see sort of it now sort of making that effect. I've just changed the radius of the cube, not the displacement. But I mean, you can see here the effects of it. It's looking really good in terms of how you can sort of create things. And again, if you're looking at animating stuff and do a bit more, yeah, really good stuff. So we can sort of adjust these values as and when we want. And again, if you wanted to control the emission map on this particular piece, if you think like, this is way too bright, why not just use another color correction? So again, you know how to do it. So it's maps. Come into the maps. Let's say I grab a general, do color correction from here. We can plug that into the base color. Okay, and then what we can do is now we can sort of change the contrast. We can change the brightness, sort of tone of this, and however you want it really to be set. So you can do quite a lot. You can shift the hue, so you can have some really nice sort of things coming. I mean, I like that. That's pretty cool. So you can really change quite a lot on here in terms of how you'd like it to look. I mean, for me, again, just with the detail that's on here, yeah, we're talking, that added saturation. It's quite bright in this purpose. It's yeah, quite bright. Okay, so we've got sort of a decent map size there, and again, just we'll have a look at that effect again there with the explosion, which is pretty good. So we've got a decent sort of map here. So what we can do, let's have a look at creating another sort of map as well. So we'll go to materials, we'll go to general, and we'll have a look at the metallic roughness type material as well, and we'll just look at creating using the same process but create a different sort of variation. So what we can do with this is we'll create a clone. So we're just going to do it as a copy. Again, I'll do the same for this one as well. So we can just create a clone, and we'll do that as a copy. So we've got we've got two different sorts of things in here now. So one of them will have our main material on. So what we're going to do in that case, let's just bring up our scene management view. Okay, I'm actually gonna I'm trying not to dock this. Maybe we can just do it actually here like this, so I can switch between the slate material editor and the scene management view. So with this, what I'm going to do is we'll just have a look here, and we'll turn off one of these. So let's have a look. We'll turn that one off, and I'll grab the sphere here as well and turn that one off as well. And what we'll do is we will just close this off. Perhaps I can't grab that there. And hopefully my slate material editor just comes back up. So there we go. Just press M on the keyboard to toggle that back up. So what we can do now is we can grab this material. Let's drag and drop this on here. There we go. And notice it's still utilizing the same displacement map. Okay. So at the minute we've got a displacement map on both. So what we're going to want to do is probably clear the displacement map on this and clear it on this one as well. So I'm just right clicking and I'm going to click clear, because we can make a different displacement map for it. It's not going to be too much of an issue. Okay, yeah, so let's look at creating something else. So yeah, we can start again with a noise. This time let's use the standard noise. So we'll use some standard noise. We've got this now, and it might take a minute to load in the viewport, which is fine. And with that noise now, what we can sort of do here is, yeah, we can change the sort of colors of this and what we want to plug into this. You can do it through this value here as well. Advantages of sort of doing it this way is that you can plug other maps into this color as well as here to sort of define the color, to give it a bit more color variation, which is pretty cool. So yeah, with this one here, let's have a look. So we've got noise plugged into the base color. This is going to be super large at the moment, so I'm just going to turn the size down so we can get a bit of a value. Let's use a fractal. Okay, we got like a nice value, so let's go for, you know, something a bit gray. I will do something like that. I mean, if we're going to make a sort of a rock surface, that'd be good. Okay, so we've got roughness map in here as well. So what you might want to do is you could utilize the same map, the same noise map that we could use for color. We could use in the roughness channel. That's not a problem. You can also, if we delete this, in the roughness channel, you know, we can put a color map in here. Okay, and again, let's just have a look. So we could make this a little bit more sort of shiny or a bit darker as well. That should affect the roughness. Now it's probably not showing through as much, just because I've not done anything with the metallic at the moment. So we've got roughness in there, and it doesn't affect it. Goes off the actual map type. You can change this to glossiness, so hopefully the glossiness works a little bit better. You can see that sort of coming through. Now it also could be down to the skylight. So with the skylight in the scene, it tends to illuminate things from every angle. So there you go, you can see the gloss there now. And what we could do is look to just use an omni light. So we can grab this, and you should see the glossiness a little bit more now, and sort of how it's going to be affected on here. So you can see with the roughness that we've got. So I've just clicked off that, and you know, I can sort of control this roughness now a little bit better. As I said before, what we could do is plug in the noise that we've just created in here, if it's going to be just, you know, black and white, and you can actually try and add that in. In addition, we might get away with as well, using some of these other maps as well. So again, you got cellular, you've got different noise maps in here. Maybe the smoke would be a good one in this case. Just try and give it a glazed surface area, so we can reduce this down a little bit. And you can already see there now it's starting to sort of shine through sort of value there. So if you're thinking of like sort of a concrete type block, yeah, that started shining through now on there. In addition, if you need to look at the maps, remember you could just replace this, so we can just look at what we've got, and we can just play with the sort of values and the iterations a little bit more. So again, maybe you want it a little bit smoother, and we might want it a little bit darker, and then you can have a look to see actually how that's affecting the model overall. So yeah, pretty good. In addition to that, again, you've got the color corrector. So again, if you wanted to sort of control these values a little bit more, you could use that color correction. We could plug that into the roughness here. And then what we could do through here is we could change the contrast. We can keep it monochromatic. We can change that contrast a little bit, maybe make it a little bit brighter. Perhaps you want it a bit shinier. And there we go. Look, you can see the control that you're sort of getting now, where the impact of that sort of noise is giving you sort of the look and feel that you might want. And again, to reduce this down now, we can just lower the contrast levels a little bit. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's up to you guys. This is about, this is where the visual sort of aspects of designing these things come through. So having those visual cues and that ability to just look and sort of tweak things, is really good. You can also, don't forget, I mean, we're doing a lot of this through the material editor, so you can bring in custom maps as well. So if you have got, base color maps, if you have got roughness maps, don't forget you can plug all them in inside of here, and they will work in just the same sort of way as well. So it's worth taking note on that as well. So perhaps you've been in another program such as Substance Designer or something like that, and you want to use that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of a quick concrete, that's not bad. It's done a decent job there. We can also, if we wanted this to be maybe a bit more rock-like, you have got the ambient occlusion, the AO. Now, we've not created any normal maps for this one, because we're concentrating on using displacements. And what we could do is if further on, when you get more advanced, you can create these high-quality maps, and you can generate normals and bake out the different details you want. If you was going to take it into a computer game engine. But yeah, let's have a look. So again, with a displacement map, general, these different ones that you might want to do. For example, you might want to use tiles. Just as a quick example, let's grab both of our objects. So I'm going to hold Control when I'm selecting these, just to make sure they're both selected. And okay, maybe I can't do that. But what I'll do is, in the displacement map, we can add the tile. We can just do that as an instant, so you can see it here already applying straight away to the circle, and then we can do it again for here. Have a look, so you can see there where you can get some tiles. We'll turn it off, that one for now. Let's just move that off a little bit. But that's not bad, in terms of tiles. And then what you could do in here, you can change the way these look. Let's just move this off. So here you can create really quick sort of tile layouts, quick sort of things that you might want to include. And yeah, you can create a bunch of different stuff really. And you can you can plug in sort of textures to this as well. So again, you've got grout, so you can actually add grout detail in here. So again, if we use maybe the noise, and then what you can do in here is we can reduce this down maybe. You can sort of see now where it's adding that level of grout to this. So attempting to sort of blur these out a little bit, which is good. So again, depends on, suppose, how much you'd like, but yeah, you can blur these out. You can have it quite small, and the more res you've got in here, the better. What you would do is, of course, again, you wouldn't necessarily take this, if this is for games, you wouldn't take it into a game engine. What you would do is bake this onto a planar itself, and then extract the individual texture maps out. But yeah, nonetheless, that's pretty cool. So that's another another option. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to clone these again. So let's do a clone. So Geosphere 3. And we'll look at creating possibly one more material, and yeah, we can sort of wrap this video up. So let's have a look here. Let's just jump on my Scene Explorer. I'm just gonna turn off them two. There we go. Let's jump back to Slate Material Editor. And what we'll do is we'll add in, right click. Let's go to General. And we'll do we'll go back to the spec and gloss on this one, and we'll do something similar to this. Again, we'll maybe borrow a part of this just to speed things up. So what you can do, if you've got a recurring thing that you really like, we can actually use it within here. Now keep in mind, I've still got the previous sort of map on, so let's just remove these maps. But what I can do is I can use that base color. Okay, I can use the roughness because I've already created it. So we can go into it's a gloss map, so maybe change that to roughness. Let it load. Okay, so I'm using these nodes now for multiple materials. So this is really good when you're trying to get consistent themes within your materials. So perhaps you're creating, you know, a few different assets. They're part of the same area in a game, or the same area as in a building or something you're trying to render. And they're using a similar mixture or surface thing. So it might be, you know, for example, it might be a concrete, but the concrete varies in its sort of structure or form. So with that done, you know, we've got that glossiness or roughness in there now. Again, you know, you can tweak this as and when needed. Yeah, we'll go back to gloss. I think it looks a little bit better with gloss. And then what we can do is, you know, you can, yeah, we can generate another displacement map. So this time we're going to use smoke for it, and we'll see what we get. So I'll select my displacement map here, grab this one, and we'll bring over the smoke. We'll add that in, and we'll do the same again. Oops, for the sphere. There we go. So we've got some detail in there. Now again, what we might want to do is just plug this in here for now, just so we can see. So it's quite large at the minute, so we'll just drop the seed value. That's pretty good. Probably a bit lower. If we're going for like sort of a rock surface, probably going to want it a bit lower. That's actually really, that's give a quite good result there. You know, you can change the values here. You know, make it a little bit deeper, maybe change that a little slightly, and again, this is where we get into sort of the smoothness and incremental bits. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. So we've got like a sort of a rock detail, and let's have a look now with the base color plugged in here. Not looking bad. Oops, plugged the wrong base color in. Let's plug it in there. Not looking bad. I mean, this is quite quick in terms of what we're doing. So if we wanted to use this same pattern, again, don't forget materials. We can go into general, and what we can do is we can use that color correction, and we can plug that color correction into our base color. Now what we can do is sort of really sort of crank up these values a little bit. You know, so we're free here now to sort of maybe increase that contrast, up that brightness, or turn it down a little bit. Try and put a little bit more on. Maybe we want to increase or decrease the saturation. Again, you know, you've got the hue shift and stuff as well if you need to be. Again, you can change these, you can invert them. So that's pretty good. In addition to that, you know, there are other map types as well. So you have got the ambient occlusion, which you could possibly build based upon the color correction, or what it might be worth doing with the ambient occlusion is actually doing a different map type based upon this. So again, maybe what we want to do from here is maybe grab grab these material from here. Again, grab the base color. We can do another color correction, and what we can do is we can bring that into the AO, and this time we're going to do monochromatic, and that way we can now control that sort of brightness a little bit more. So it's quite harsh. That maybe increase or decrease that contrast a little bit. Maybe just bring in that brightness a touch. Just try and push and pull those values a little bit more. And you know, straight away, it's not perfect, but you're starting to see a rock sort of detail sort of develop on this now. So we're getting like a nice rock detail. At any point, you know, we're free to sort of change and tweak this. So you can see here where I'm changing the values here and it's updating. Sort of have a look and just tweak that sort of effect and that surface area, which is pretty good. It's not bad. And I mean, you know, we've got different sort of maps in here now, and if we combine these, I'm pretty convinced they'll look pretty good. So let's just do the align tool, grab that, click apply. You know, we can maybe scale this a little bit. Let's grab my scale there. You know, you've got like really got nice looking geometry. Oops, grab that here, and you know, you can create something be a little bit like this. Turn the spheres off. Yeah, and you've got something like that, which is pretty good. I mean, I think that's pretty good. We can bake that down, so we could take that now, we could bake that detail down and extract it for sort of a game environment. But what I'd like you to do, follow along, obviously, complete the demonstration, and give it a go yourself. See if you can create, you know, a nice sort of looking, you know, texture. And again, I'd experiment with those nodes. You can get way more detail in than what I've done. But yeah, you can experiment quite a bit. Get yourselves sort of set up with a nice sort of render or sorry, a sort of a node that you'd like to sort of experiment with. And yeah, see what you can do. And I will catch you in the next video.